So farming external components and reactors in the First Descendant is a pain in the rear. And today I am bringing you 2 cheat sheets that will hopefully make your life a lot easier. Let's get into it.
Tux makes it exciting!
So you got external components, you got reactors, what are the best stats, but more importantly, what are even the possible combinations? And this is an important question because you could be out there wasting your time like I did. The other day I was out there farming for external components, sensors and memory packs. I was looking for a particular combination, I can't remember what it was, but after a couple of hours of farming, I came to realize that that combination didn't even exist. So I wasted a ton of time. That's what sparked the idea of creating these cheat sheets because I want to help you not make the same mistake. I'm going to quickly go through each of the cheat sheets and then I will be providing links down below for you to download these directly. They are image files, so you should be able to open them with whatever cell phone that you're using. Let's start with external components. And so I have them all broken down here by the components, and there are a total of 4. So what I've done here is highlighted just the max possible rate. For example, on the auxiliary power units, you can get max HP here at 913. And then you got module drop rates and Kuiper drop rates, MP recovery, DBNO, and fire resistant. So one of the key things to note here is that if there's a stat that you're looking for that's not in this section, then it does not exist. Let me just make sure that's clear. These are all the substats. So we're not talking about the main stat. So if you're looking for defense as a main stat, well, that's not here. These are all the substats for that power unit. But the main stat, well, that's a variable. So you have shield, you have defense, and you have HP. But what the max is depends on what the actual unit is or the brand. They sort of nerf some of the stats because they're giving you other perks that come along with that brand. So it's not always worth running a mixed set. You have to pay attention to those stats. Let me see if I can find a quick example for you. Yeah, this one's a good one. The Annihilation sensor has a defense of 4,683, and so does the Bravery set. It's got the same. That is the max stat on defense. And now let's look at an HP one. So for example, here on the Frozen Heart sensor, we get a 646 as a max HP, and that is max in the game from what I can see. And the regular HP support sensor supports that as well, so it's 646. But if you look at the Polar Night sensor, its max HP is at 484. So if you run the Polar Night sensor, you got to realize that you're not getting the max HP you possibly be getting in the game. You're getting sort of a nerf on that because of all the other perks. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It depends on what are you looking to do. With that being said, what we're focusing on today when it comes to the external components, we're looking at these. These are the sub attributes that we're focusing on. There's lots of combination, and what you can possibly get depends on the external component. One of the other things I wanted to show here is that none of these stats cross over. So for example, fire resistance can only be found on the auxiliary power unit. Same with MP recovery out of combat. The sensor, for example, has chill resistance, and then it's got MP recovery in combat. So none of the stats cross over. Auxiliary power, you can get a max HP stat as a possibility. And then of course all these other things, but that's the one I wanted to highlight because those are the ones that most people build around first. And for the sensor, you can't get HP and you can't get defense down here. Instead, the only core stat that you could possibly get is going to be MP, and that's going to max out at 160. And that's why I wanted to get this out here as fast as possible, because if you're out there looking for a sensor like I was that had max HP and then more max HP or max defense, then yeah, you're wasting your time. It's just not going to happen. And that kind of sucks, right? And now for the memory, we got max defense. So this is the one where you can get the double defense on, which is really nice. And that's going to be at a max value of 4246. And if you're looking for electronic resistance, that's where you're going to find it as well. And then the processor is going to give you max shield. So this is the one where you can double up your shields. That's going to be at a maximum quantity of 300. And this is also hosting your toxic resistance if you're looking for some of that. So I'll leave this here. I'll leave this with you. But as a quick tip, if you need to know where to farm some of this stuff, there's 2 ways. So one is you can go here to your menu, and you got to be at the hard level in order to do this. And then you can look at external components and see what is dropping out there. Here we got processors and rockfall. And then we have memory units and repository. The other way you could do it is to see all rewards and scan this list as well. You'll see here that Sterile Land has the processor and the memory unit. The other way you can do it is go into access info if you're looking for something more specific. For example, the defensive support memory, you can go here and it'll show you where you can find these pieces, and there's lots of options. So mission monsters for the most part. Vespers, for example, you can fight the frontline base and you'll be looking specifically for the one that has a defense stat here. So note that there's the defense support memory that's going to have a defense core stat. You can have a shield enhanced memory with a shield core stat and an HP support memory with, of course, the max HP stat. And the processors and the sensors, everything has that same combination, the non-branded external components. I did do a guide on how to get the branded rare external components. If you haven't seen that guide, definitely check it out here in this video. I also did one for the Reactor series.
Let's do this!
On top here, you're gonna have all of the key stats for reactors. So these are all the max stacks on any possible reactor you can get out there. So you got additional skill attack to Legions and Colossus. You got sub attacks, power boost ratio, skill cost, range, duration, cooldowns, crit damage, crit rate, and HP heals. What I also did was give you all the Descendant stat assignments and their best reactors. So for example, on Ultimate Bunny, she's electric, and for her skill 1, she has fusion. For skill 2, she's got singular. 3, she's got singular. 4, she's got fusion. And then the ideal reactor for her is the tingling singular. And then whether you go ultimate or rare, that's up to you and the weapon that you're gonna run. From what I can tell, it looks like all of the ultimates and the regular non-ultimate Descendants have the same attributes and skill attribute assignments, but please note that some Transcendent mods can actually change your stat assignments. For example, I think VS is one of those that she can go from a singular to a dimension or something like that, or changes everything to singular. I can't remember exactly, but she's one of those that do change, has a possibility to change, and I'm sure there's others out there as well. But for the most part, this is pretty stable and you could rely on what you see here. And if you're looking to farm reactors, it's basically the same as what I showed you earlier. Be on hard and then go into this menu again and then use your filters. So let's use this as a guide here. So I'm actually looking for one right now for Sharon. Here I want the tingling mixture, and so that's gonna have fusion and dimension, and I start with electric. So we got electric, and then we want fusion. The only one on the map is gonna have special rounds, which sucks because I'm not using a special round weapon. She relies on snipers, and so for ammo, I would be looking for high power rounds, and that's not on the list for this week, so that sucks. And so if you go back to this menu and say, give me all the rewards, I can scan to see when her combination is gonna come up. And this is a little tedious to look at. You have to basically have those symbols memorized, which is annoying. So for what I'm looking for, I have to wait until the reset, which is going to put me in the White Knight Gulch, where you can see I have high impact rounds, electric and fusion all available for that sector, and that's going to happen in 15 hours. So hopefully this will help you farm for what you're looking for. Catch you on the next one. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
One and only.
And this was another episode of The First Descendant. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The First Descendant. And if you like videos like this, check out the one I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy or download anything for the First Descendant, be sure to use Tux's creator code to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Follow me.